Bin ja jetzt mal gespannt.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have?
There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case.
Please present it to the court. This is the nickel samurai.
See, I told you. That's the guy I saw.
This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter.
Moment mal. Okay, mir ist in dem Foto direkt aufgefallen, dass die Hose sonst wo hing. Als ob die Person da drin sehr klein gewesen ist. Ich glaube, Adrian Andrews war nicht sehr groß. Können wir uns ja jetzt nochmal angucken. Vielleicht habe ich mich auch verguckt, aber... Ja, guck mal da. Das ist ja doch recht deutlich zu sehen. Ich habe erst rumgeguckt und nichts gesehen und wollte schon aufgeben, aber dann ist mir das da unten ins Auge gefallen. Das sieht doch eindeutig aus, als ob da jemand anders drin ist. Weil, wie gesagt, das schöne Bild, das wir hier drüben haben, da sieht man ja ganz deutlich, dass die Füße unten noch rausgucken. Haha, ich pass voll gut auf, ey.
What does all this mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
This photo by itself does not prove that the person is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Ongard clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his nickel samurai costume.
If that is the case, then this nickel samurai is
the defendant.
How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client?
If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. But if I raise an objection here and blow it, then I would put Maya's life in jeopardy. Well, you would put her life in jeopardy anyway. Ich meine, wenn wir jetzt verlieren, das ist ja wohl ziemlich eindeutig, dass Mayas Leben in Gefahr ist. I can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took, there's something strange with it. There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right?
Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth?
I think we can all agree there's nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster.
Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright?
What the hell? What the fuck is a bunker buster? Anyway, please look at the photo one more time.
If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct?
Oh Mann, das ist ja bisher echt voll der eine Chance und das war's mal. Aber gut, ich bin mir ziemlich sicher, dass ich schon das Richtige bemerkt habe. Well, I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? Oh, it's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts?
Now then, let's hear your objection. What about this photo is strange?
Ja. Ja. Und, war es richtig? Okay, das klingt jetzt eher nach einer allgemeinen Nachricht. Die kommen ja meistens, wenn man falsch liegt. I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here.
What are you pointing to? His ankles?
If you could see this person's ankles, that will be one thing. However, you can't. Ha, okay, ich glaube, ich liege doch richtig.
And what does that mean?
The costumed person in this photo could not have been Mr. On Guard.
What is the meaning of this?
I wonder if you would care to elaborate with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nico Samurai's poster. Ha. Ha, ich fühle mich so klug. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama.
His socks. You can see his socks.
Yep, exactly. However, in this photo, the Nico Samurai is clearly holding his hakama up just to walk. There's only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh? What is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself as if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack? Then I haven't damaged his case at all?
Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt on guard, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless.
I figured it would come to this. What? Right, I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt on guard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who is the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah, why is he so calm?
Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is the person in this photograph?
Ja, ich habe ja vorhin schon gesagt. Sie war recht klein. Und sie ist auch die einzige Person, die mir gerade einfällt, die es sonst noch gewesen sein könnte.
Adrian Andrews?
If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, it is none other than this woman. And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short. And she can freely move in and out of Mr. Onguard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Ongard that night.
And how does that all add up?
It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Ongard's fingerprints all over it.
The knife that was used as a murder weapon.
Why don't you just say what it is you want, Mr. Wright? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Corrida. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime.
Order, order, order! Looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor.
This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. The verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony.
Alright, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness. It means that the trial will go... Oh, shit. That the trial will go on for another day. Aber wir müssen in einem einzigen Tag einen Not Guilty bekommen oder Maya wird umgebracht. If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya...
No, then we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow.
What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court. Raise an objection? Keine Ahnung.
No, then. Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today. I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if she's not...
Huh? I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Huh. Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial.
But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development.
Huh. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor.
And what do you mean by that?
That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What?
What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth?
Alter, sie ist schon da, oder was? Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She is the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by that man. Somehow I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly. Edgeworth.
Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness at that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess.
Whew.
Dude, I can't believe that Adrian... No way, not cool and collected Adrian Andrews.
She is your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her.
So after the ceremony during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time.
See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your hakama.
Because she was the one that came to wake me up? Then dude, you're saying it really was her?
Yes, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Corrida.
But why? I just thought she was buds with Juan.
She has her own agenda.
Her own agenda? What are you talking about?
Ach genau, wir hatten ja die Vermutung, dass sie sich an Juan rangemacht hat, weil sie wissen will, ob Juan den Abschiedsbrief von Celeste versteckt hat. Vielleicht hat sie ihn ja gefunden. I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial is over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today.
Give me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze, okay, Mr. Lawyer, dude?
Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note, right? Yes. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impact as a strength and reason to live. But then Miss Impact suddenly killed herself. It sounds like she left a suicide note, and the person thought to have hidden it is Juan Corrida, the victim of this murder. And that's why I think that Mr. Andrews got close to Mr. Corrida, all to get the suicide note back. It sounds plausible, but one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about the relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impact's. It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still the one in command of the ship. Don't let your guard down yet. Okay.
Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please.
The prosecution calls the witness appointed by this court, Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Corrida's room. What is your occupation? I am the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Engard.
I see. Now then.
Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request.
Oh, yes, sure. What is it?
I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about her relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently.
No, I have no idea what you mean. I have never even heard of Gossip Land.
Die hat doch nicht mal den Namen gesagt. If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Corrida. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan, but this was a private matter between Juan and myself.
So it was a fry and bait matter. Or was that bait and fry? Reminds me of...
Wovon zum Teufel redet er? But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that. Naja, außer uns. I think there is someone who would beg to differ.
I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews.
Very well then, witness. Please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room, and there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was naturally the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice.
You poured yourself a glass of juice?
Yes, sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime. And I disturbed the cream sign, genau. The cream sign. I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing.
And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Phoenix. She's one cool and collected customer and she has the brains to match.
Yes, I know.
In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing.
Disrupt her pacing?
She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking, so you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over, understand?
Was, bin mir nicht sicher, was du jetzt von mir willst, wenn du das sagst, aber ich mache einfach mal so wie sonst auch weiter, ja?
It was time for the show to also pressen, was das Zeug hält. And what was Mr. Ongard doing at the time? He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his mini-performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony.
Es muss ja auch so anstrengend gewesen sein.
Mr. Ongard did say he was taking a nap. Then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me? It? What are you...
Right, I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence with the subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. Ongard's knife from his room?
No.
Subject, verb, object, right. Did you... Meine Güte. Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. Owned by Edgeworth. After that, I went to Juan's room. And why did you do that?
As a friendly gesture, Juan was to make an appearance with the other heroes.
So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? Keine Ahnung. Ich weiß nicht, kommt das jetzt bei jeder Aussage? Probieren wir mal.
Is that the only reason? I beg your pardon? What are you implying?
You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim.
Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in mind at that time.
I can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess. May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got to his room?
That was his dead body. I was in shock.
You were in shock.
What? Was I not supposed to be?
Miss Andrews is a very calculating person, and despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Corridor. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock, and you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not.
I see.
Was sie gesehen hat, ja, exactly the same scene in the crime scene photo.
This is the photo you're referring to, correct? Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest.
And the guitar case was like this too?
Yes, it was open and empty, of course.
And then, what did you do next, witness?
Felt as though I was about to faint. I poured myself a glass of juice.
Juice?
Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself.
But you didn't drink any of it, did you?
Huh?
There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it.
I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it.
Aber hat sie vorhin nicht gesagt, sie hat das gemacht, weil sie sich nicht gut gefühlt hat? Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Corridor, you were in great shock. And that is when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct?
And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank. I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake, that one thing. What one thing? Oh, never mind, it's no big deal. Or, what was you starting to say just now? Press further. Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry, it's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. Oh, falsches Foto. Mann, wie oft mache ich das denn noch? Das ist die Karte. Ich glaube, das hier ist es. Okay, aber da habe ich direkt mal einen Einspruch. Da habe ich ja echt gut, dass ich mir am Anfang der Streaming-Session heute mal alle Beweisstücke angeguckt habe. Weil ich habe ja am Anfang beim Durchlesen kam auch das Beweisstück der Gitarrenkoffer, wo stand, dass der nass war. Und zwar oben. Nicht innen drin, sondern oben drauf. Das heißt, wenn sie die Blumenvase umgekippt hat, und man sieht auf dem Foto ja auch das Wasser auf dem Boden, dann muss der Koffer zu dem Zeitpunkt ja zu gewesen sein. Was das zu bedeuten hat, weiß ich jetzt noch nicht, aber es fällt mir gerade mal auf. Oh, toll, jetzt kommt das Foto.
This mess of glass shards.
It was originally on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case.
Why did you withhold such an important piece of information?
I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess.
It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony.
I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. Oh, sie fängt schon an zu schwitzen. I was the one who knocked the flower vase over where it fell onto the guitar case. Ich präsentiere jetzt mal direkt den Gitarrenkoffer, weil da steht das, glaube ich. Yeah, there's some water, but only on top of the lid. Ich habe auch überlegt, das Foto zu präsentieren, aber ich glaube, der Gitarrenkoffer passt hier besser. You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem, it's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Ms. Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not on the outside.
That is very true.
Furthermore, there's one other strange thing about this guitar case.
And what is that?
Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor.
And what is wrong with that?
If the guitar case was open when... Wenn er offen gewesen wäre, wären bestimmt auch Stücke von der zersplitterten Vase da reingefallen. If the guitar case was open when the vase shattered, the glass shards should be inside, not outside the case. What is your point, Wright? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over. Is that all? Now, think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else.
Yes, that is right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case.
But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be, however, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it?
It seems that there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case?
Ja. Ich habe zwar noch keine Ahnung, aber machen wir einfach mal. The empty guitar case I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. Huh, I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. I can't believe I'm doing this either.
Alright, I'll follow along. But now, Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case.
Yes, Your Honor. Jetzt bin ich mal gespannt. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. Not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. This is kind of suspicious.
It looks like this really wasn't a very important point.
This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it almost feels comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination, okay? Using any way to change the topic. Convenient escape. Weak man. Thank you. I remember it clearly because I was a bit dazed. During your testimony just now, did you remember those events clearly in your mind? Well, you see... Are you sure you are the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not. Sounds like her dependent side is taking over.
Well, Miss Andrews.
Yes, it was me. Irgendwie tut sie mir jetzt ein bisschen leid. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. Okay. So you opened the guitar case then? Yes, well, maybe. Why did you open the guitar case? Huh? Mr. Corrida's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think that the first thing you would do is call for help, not open a guitar case. As the witness has said multiple times, when she found the dead body, she was dazed. Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it. Why would she care about the bright red guitar? But getting back on topic. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. Was it really empty? Oops. I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside. How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Roy? Have a little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention.
Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright.
Oh, sorry. So why I opened the case even I don't know. Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body? Yes, that's probably it. I'm not going to get anywhere if I continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence. I guess I should give it a try. Come on, Phoenix. We can't afford to let up on her now. I wasn't planning on letting up, but she's at her weakest now, so this is our chance. Yeah, if we had a weapon to hit her with, I'm sure a weapon is hiding somewhere in the court record, waiting to be found. Hey? Don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. Ist irgendwas, was dem widerspricht? Ich wüsste jetzt nix. Case was empty after all. Also dazu fällt mir gar nichts ein. Ah. Da sind keine Fingerabdrücke. Ich wollte gerade gucken, ob der Gitarrenkoffer irgendwas sagt, was mich weiterbringt. Und da sind Corridas Fingerabdrücke drauf, aber nicht ihre. Jetzt könnte man natürlich behaupten, sie hat Handschuhe getragen, aber dann, das habe ich nämlich gerade als nächstes nachgeguckt, deswegen habe ich kurz darauf geklickt, wenn sie Handschuhe getragen hätte, wären hier nicht ihre Fingerabdrücke drauf. Also hat sie keine angehabt, sonst hätte sie nicht hier Fingerabdrücke hinterlassen, aber dann hätte sie hier auch welche hinterlassen müssen. Also